Suppose you are flying a kite and you want to know how high your kite is flying, then how you are going to find out height of kite which is very far from you? Are you physically going to measure? We know that physically it is not possible in cases where the object is very tall or very far from us. So in such cases, we take the help of branch of mathematics known as trigonometry. But what is the meaning of the word trigonometry? Trigonometry is a Greek word where tri means 3, gon means angle or side, and metry means measurement. So literal meaning of trigonometry is triangle measurement. A triangle has 6 elements, 3 angles and 3 sides. And trigonometry deals especially with the right angle triangles. So if you look at this flying kite, it forms a right angle triangle. So let's see some properties of this right angle triangle. The very first property is, in a right angle triangle, one of the 3 angles will always be of 90 degrees. Second property is, the opposite side of 90 degrees angle is always known as hypotenuse. In this case, the string of the kite. Now, one angle 90 degrees clearly means that the sum of the other 2 angles must be equal to 90 degrees, because we all know that in any triangle, sum of all the 3 angles is equal to 180 degrees. So about this angle, all I know is this is not of 90 degrees and it's less than 90 degree. So let me call this unknown angle as angle theta. Mathematically, theta is one of the symbol to denote unknown angle. So with respect to this unknown angle theta, let me name this side as the opposite side and this side as the adjacent side. Note that if I consider this angle as unknown angle theta, then this side would be my opposite side and this side would be my adjacent side. So suppose string length of my kite is 55 meters and it makes 30 degrees angle with the ground, and I need to find out the height of my kite from the ground. This means that I know string length, that is the hypotenuse, and angle theta, and I want to know the opposite side, that is the height of kite. So in such cases where we have given with theta, that is angle, and hypotenuse, and we need to know the opposite side, we use sine theta is equal to opposite side upon the hypotenuse formula. And therefore, since my theta is of 30 degrees, in this case, we get sine 30 is equal to opposite side upon 55, as my string length is equal to 55 meters. And therefore, opposite side will be equal to sine 30 into 55. Now, to know height, that is the opposite side, I should know value for sine 30 degrees. Thus, by knowing the following table, we can know value of sine 30, which is equal to 1 upon 2. You might be thinking how we defined all these values. So note that there are proper derivations for the same and we will be dealing with it later. So since sine 30 is equal to 1 upon 2, opposite side will be equal to 27.5 meters. That is, height of kite will be equal to 27.5 meters. This is how the problem solved. Suppose we have a different case where we have given with the angle of 60 degrees and we know the adjacent side, that is distance on the ground, and I want to know the length of string, that is the hypotenuse. So in such type of cases where we have given with angle theta and adjacent side and we need to find out the hypotenuse, we use the formula cos theta is equal to adjacent side upon the hypotenuse. Remember, when the problem deals with finding opposite side or hypotenuse and one of the value is given, then for the given angle we use sine theta. So what we understand here is, whenever the problem deals with finding adjacent side or hypotenuse and one of the value is given, then for the given angle we use cos theta. And therefore, since theta is of 60 degrees, I can write cos 60 is equal to 25, that is the adjacent side, upon the hypotenuse. And therefore, hypotenuse will be equal to 25 upon cos 60 degrees. Now again, we should have value for cos 60 degrees. So looking at this table, we can know the value for cos 60 degrees, that is equal to 1 upon 2. And therefore, hypotenuse will be equal to 50 meters. That is, the length of my string is 50 meters. Now the third case is, suppose I know my kite height is of 35 meters from the ground, and with this string angle made is 45 degrees, and I want to know distance on the ground, that is the adjacent side. So in the cases where we know the angle and opposite side and we want to find out the adjacent side. Now again, remember that when the problem deals with finding adjacent side or opposite side and one of the value is given, then for the given angle we use the formula tan theta is equal to opposite side upon the adjacent side. Since theta is of 45 degrees, in this case I can write tan 45 is equal to 35 upon the adjacent side. So again, to know the value for tan 45, we use the same table and we pick the value for tan 45, that is equal to 1. So adjacent side will be equal to 35 meters. So this is how we calculate height and distance of any tall or far object by using these three formulae. Note that here sine, cos and tan, they are short forms of sine, cosine and tangent. These three formulas are nothing but one side of a triangle divided by other side and are known as trigonometric ratios. We can remember these three trigonometric ratios by remembering a name, SOHCAHTOA, that is SOH, CAH and TOA, where S, C and T stands for sine, cos and tan, and OAH stands for opposite side, adjacent side and hypotenuse. One more thing, note that by just reversing these three ratios we can get three more different ratios. That is, reverse ratio of sine is defined as cosec theta, which is equal to hypotenuse upon the opposite side. And the reverse ratio of cos theta is defined as sec theta, and that is equal to hypotenuse upon the adjacent side. And similarly, the reverse ratio of tan theta is defined as cot theta, and that is equal to adjacent side upon the opposite side. So these 6 ratios are the only possible ratios that can be made by using the three sides. Note that in place of sine theta, we can also use cosec theta, and in place of cos theta, we can also use sec theta, and similarly in place of tan theta, we can also use cot theta. Cosec theta, sec theta and cot theta, they are the short forms of cosecant theta, secant theta and cotangent theta respectively. So let's see what all we have learned in this session. So we have learned properties of right angle triangle, finding height and distance, trigonometric ratios, tricks to remember them, and values of trigonometric ratios for specific angles. Now one more important thing that you should know is sine always deals with angle theta, opposite side and hypotenuse, and if we know any two of the three values, we can know the third one. Similarly, cos always deals with angle theta, adjacent side and hypotenuse. And again, if we know any two of the three values, we can know the third value. And same goes for tan. Tan always deals with angle theta, opposite side and adjacent side. And again, if we know any two of the three elements, we can get the value for the third one. So that's all for now. Thank you.